Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Before getting into the episode, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is my last of a series of 3 podcasts that I recorded at school, and the audio quality isn't the same as what it usually is. So apologies for that, and look forward to a great conversation and better audio quality in coming episodes. Welcome back to the Live with Grace podcast, where we discuss sports, lessons, and life as athletes, professionals, creators, dreamers, and leaders. I'm Grace Byer, and I'm your host, and I'm so happy you're here. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Live with Grace podcast, to one of the first episodes of Season 3. On this episode, I welcome Kristen Keys to the podcast. Kristen's a 5th-year senior. She was one of my teammates this year at Roosevelt. She's a 2-time all-conference player and also a 1,000-point scorer. She was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, but she came here this year after playing 4 years at a Division II in Missouri called Missouri S&T. She's also earning her degree this year in sustainability, so if you have a chance to reach out to her, congratulate her for that. And on this episode, Keys and I are going to discuss topics ranging from expressing yourself as a person and as a player, separating your identity from what you do and who you are as a player, and other topics relating to health, taking care of your body, and spirituality. I can't wait for you guys to hear about Keys' journey, and let's get into the episode.
What was your journey like from high school, your last school, college, in terms of learning who you were as a person? You know?
Yeah, it was a long journey. I would say that, like, in high school, I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I probably didn't realize who I was until, like, about a year or two ago. Like, it's really recent. Like, even at my last school, I wasn't really fully able to be myself and express myself. But I think that was part of the reason why I ended up transferring over here, too. Is because, like, I wanted to be able to better express myself and, like, start clean, sleep, like, meeting new people who, like, don't have any expectations of me, like they did at my other schools.
And being in a city, being, like, in a hub of opportunity and different people, and you're going to find what you're looking for here, you know? You're going to find people that you fit in with. It might not be the first people you find, but I feel like I got pretty lucky, and, like, we got pretty lucky with a team that really meshed from the start, and you know, everyone brings something different to the table. We were talking about that the other day. You know, everyone's really cool and unique in their own way.
Yeah, and we just let each other be ourselves. That's like the most beautiful thing.
Yeah,
we accept each other for who they are. That's pretty cool.
And I think, like, going along with what you said, like, maybe at your last school or in certain environments, you can't grow because of who you're around. Because who you're around really, like, impacts how you think.
Definitely.
Because if everyone around you is thinking the same way, or you feel like really judged, you might first of all think, "Oh, this is how everyone thinks, and this is just how the world is."
Exactly.
Like, if those people have a victim mentality, if those people see the cup half empty all the time, you're just gonna think that that's how the cup is. It's half empty, you know.
Yeah.
You're just gonna think that's who you are. You're a show version or a limited version of really who you are at your full expression.
Essentially, and that's something that I had to really, like, take into consideration too. Like, where's my life going? What do I want for myself? How am I able to actually, like, express myself and be fully me? Yeah. So I'm glad that I, like, really advocated for myself in that way.
Yeah, for real, it's a great feeling. But how do you think you got over that hump of the discomfort of having to advocate for yourself at first?
Just, like, realizing that it's not wrong to be yourself. Like. No matter what other people think, first you have to stop caring about what other people think and just truly be happy. Like, I saw something where it said, like, repressing yourself is depressing your soul. And I felt that so bad. Like, because all I want to do is be happy, and the only way I can be happy is to step fully into
your light, into who you are.
Exactly.
Into, like, your purpose. Yeah. It's like getting the world and losing your soul, that quote. I don't know exactly how it goes, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So how do you see that like, what are the changes and adjustments that you made since coming here, or, you know, over the last few years growing into that person? What do you think are the main changes?
I feel like fashion has helped me to express myself a lot, actually. Like,
yeah, I can see that.
It's weird, like, back in the day, I used to dress really feminine and, like, kind of would be uncomfortable in the clothes that I would wear. And so once I just like really focused on being comfortable in how like I represented myself and how I expressed myself through clothing, I like started to just be myself and people would start to accept me as well. So like I was really grateful for that, but it helped me a lot actually.
I do think fashion is an expression of yourself.
It really is.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with dressing to fit in. But like sometimes when, you know, I go to some sort of gathering and everyone's like, oh, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? And sometimes I just want to like go in my closet and like, what do I feel like wearing?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And there's
like, I'm gonna wear this dress or I'm gonna wear this outfit because I'm gonna wear it regardless. But I definitely took me a long time to get to that too. Because at first, like, I didn't really know what I liked to wear either. And so I let people be in my ear of like, oh, Grace, you should wear this, or you should dress this way, or look like this, or. I mean, as a kid, my mom would just let us wear whatever.
That's what I was about to say. Like, my mom literally, she let you wear whatever?
She let us wear whatever. Like, I'll wear mismatched, like, shirts and tutus and, like, crazy.
Wow.
My mom just didn't care. And honestly, that's a great approach.
Yeah, I love that. Because, like, my niece and nephew would just walk out the house with rain boots on and a tutu and their Halloween costume.
Because who cares, you know?
Yeah.
Some parents, like, I don't think there's anything wrong either with making sure your kid looks put together.
Yeah.
And I think it's cute, but are you doing it for you or are you doing it for your kid's happiness? You know?
I feel that because my mom, she dressed me up in the little, like, dresses and the fluffy socks and the little.
I have the fluffy socks.
And I was like, I would stand so awkwardly and be so like uncomfortable, and you could tell so being able to like really take that power back and decide for myself what I want to wear. It took me a while, but once I got the hang of it, like I understood who I was.
Yeah,
it was great. So,
and I feel like at the root of that, it's just like trusting yourself, trusting that. I mean, it's something very like. It's not surface level, but for like the sake of the conversation, like it's surface level. It's not like really who you are, what you wear.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like at a very like surface level, I trust that I'm gonna choose the right clothes for myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a starting point. Then I can trust that I'm gonna say the right words. Then I can trust that I'm gonna make the right decisions. And then I can trust like I can choose the right friendships or people to be in my life, you know?
Yeah, and it's also a thing of like what you see people wearing is like your first impression of them. Like that initial first second, it's like people see me walk through, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, like she's more like masculine but has some feminine energy with her. And then like you kind of like start those assumptions like right off the bat. And then once you get to talk to me, like you'll understand more about me, who I am, what I stand for. And those are other things that like came with expressing myself and finding my identity as well. It's like understanding those things too. So.
And do you see that as you express yourself, not just through fashion, but like found yourself that the right people have come to you naturally?
Yeah. And it's so crazy. Like, you guys are literally my first, like I can see us being like long-term.
Yes, me too.
Like, that I've had in a really long time. So, like, I feel like, I just naturally attracted that in you and like in my girlfriend. And so, like,
I think that's just like how it works, that once you're in like comfortable in yourself and like aware, very self-aware, and not saying that there's still not things that you're working on and growing in, because we always are, you know. But I think the first step is like I'm me regardless.
And that's the best feeling ever. It's like, well, this is like there's nothing else I can do but be myself. So.
And like also, I don't know if you relate to this, but when I think back, just thinking how long it took me to get to where I am right now, it just means that much more. That at the end of the day, you know what you bring to the table, and like that's me. You know, like I might not have this or this, but I'm gonna walk in. I always am gonna be Grace. I'm always gonna bring a certain energy to a room. I'm always gonna, you know, put my full effort forth and try to encourage people and try to, you know, get better in my own self as well.
Yeah, I feel that. Like. Yeah, it's amazing, honestly. Like, just being yourself in general. And I love that we have that in common.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of people, like, I feel like we wouldn't be, like, as close as friends if we weren't ourselves.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Because we're very different, too.
Yeah.
And I think that is very common with a lot of the people that I know, that no one's the same. And I would hate to be in a friend group where everyone's the
Everyone's the
same.
same. And that's how a lot of friend groups are. Like,
Yeah.
just like everyone follows everyone. And it's like,
And you have to be a certain way to be in that. I don't like that. I like diversity. I like everyone brings their uniqueness to the table and is themselves. So what are some of like the things, the habits, the rituals, things that you have done or built or gotten used to doing that have helped you, be Kristen?
mm-hmm. Well, like, I don't know, some things that I've like gotten into is outside of basketball would be like herbal teas, drinking tea, meditation has been a big one. Like, that spiritual practice and just being mindful and bringing yourself back in yourself and even observing your thoughts and what you like to do, what you think about, all those things are just like, yeah, that's stuff that I'm into.
I think it's like, just like what you said, some of it isn't even what you're doing, it's just how you're thinking.
Yes.
And for me, anytime that I change how I'm thinking, it's actually a conscious process that I have to be like, no, this is how I'm thinking. This is how I'm thinking. When something happens, I'm not falling into that old pattern. This is my response,
Mm-hmm.
And then once you like train that, and I've like done it in bouts, and I want to be, obviously still growing in that area, but then it just becomes your natural process. Like this is where I'm naturally gonna fall to.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Like, even just like setting boundaries and establishing them, and then just making sure that no one crosses the type of thing.
Like a certain level of respect for yourself. That this is
Yes.
my boundary, but also if you're gonna do that, I'm gonna let you be over there sometimes because like I don't want to get into the drama.
Exactly.
But not letting people walk all over you too.
Hey guys, this is just a warning that there is a siren about to come in the background. I was unable to remove it completely, but just wanted to let you guys know. And there's also one more siren, I believe, in this audio, so don't be afraid if you hear it.
Do you see that like your meditation practice is always like what you think of in meditation, or do you like kind of incorporate other, you know what I mean? Like, is it always like sitting on the floor
and like just observing my thoughts?
Yeah.
Not always. Like, I like to get into a comfortable position, so I'll do it like when I wake up or when I'm about to go to bed, like laying down, just being mindful and kind of just breathing. Like, I feel like that's a very important part that we're not really conscious about. It's like taking those deep breaths and just like I don't know, but I don't know like why it's helped so much, honestly, because I'm still into the practice. Like, I try to get into it as much as I can, but just like being mindful and then moving your body, like stretching, doing yoga and mobility, like just I feel like that's a good way to just take care of your body and your mind at the same time. So,
and you've been big on that this season. What is like some of the things you've done for those that didn't follow or don't know, aren't familiar with the program? Keys had some issues with her Achilles during the season. She sprained her ankles.
Like all my feet, all around.
Her
like
feet,
both of my
plantar
feet.
fascia.
Figured out that I was having problems with my feet. I just made it a thing to stretch before every practice. So I would do calf stretches on a slant board. I would roll my feet out with a lacrosse ball, and I would do like wall calf stretches, just all types of stretches to make sure I'm taking care of my body. Because typically, like, I would just do a little warm up before practice and then work out and then go home after that. But now after practice, I make sure I ice every time. Make sure I'm taking like collagen supplements to like have strong ligaments. So I was doing everything that I possibly could to like be better and be able to play and make it through the season. But,
yeah, and I think it worked out pretty well for you. I mean, besides like a fluke ankle sprain, which was really out of your control. Little things, but it's really like the things that aren't hard, but they're simple, but they're not easy to do every day.
Yeah, just like
how
having that consistency.
Yeah,
definitely. But I try to be proactive and like do things before the season too. Like, I'm big on strengthening and doing strength conditioning exercises, making sure that you take care of your body, especially as an athlete. So now that that's over, I'm definitely gonna be just rehabbing like forever.
Yeah, and what's your new Instagram account? You can, I don't know if you changed the username or not.
Yeah, I did. It's Keys in 4K __. So
Keys in 4K __. We'll probably shout it out again at the end, and I'm gonna put it in the description. But also on TikTok, I think it's just I don't know what your username is on TikTok. But
on TikTok and Instagram, my main page is Kristen.Keys.
Yep, and it's spelled exactly how it sounds.
Yeah.
But Keys has started to post this content of how to take care of your ankles, how to take care of, all these different body parts and just like the small routines that she's doing. I think it's helpful for current athletes. I think it's also helpful for athletes that are in your position of like, man, my body went through so much. Let me take care of it. Let me give it some love,
Yeah, it's about that time. I really I'm trying to stay consistent. Posting has definitely helped me stay consistent.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna continue to do that because sometimes you just need a trainer to tell you what to do and tell you to work hard. But since I don't have that anymore, I'm going to use my platform to educate other people as much as I can and just document my process and become stronger as a individual. So.
And it's kind of like a self-trainer. It's like someone holding you accountable.
Yeah.
That you have to film.
Exactly. And also, I love filming it because I get to see my technique and the form that I'm doing, and then sometimes my form is just way off, so I can be doing it correctly.
Yeah. And it's nice to be able to do that. You have the patience with yourself.
Yeah.
Man, I don't have any pressure on this. Let me just take care of my body. Let me just, get better in my own little way. And, because you need your body to live a good life. You need to be healthy, strong, feel good.
Yeah, my main goal is to just be more mobile and flexible because I want to we talk about grounding a lot. I want to be able to sit comfortably in the grass without my hips being too tight or whatever.
That's real. That's real. We one time at practice we had I don't know how did it come up.
How did it come up?
One time we were in film or practice or something, and I brought up grounding. And coach and everyone's looking at me crazy.
Yeah.
Keys is like, yeah, grounding, and I'm like, Keys is always on my back. I pulled up the articles, but grounding is basically, for those that don't know, it's putting your bare feet on the earth, basically, and it's something scientifically with the electrons or whatever that actually has scientifically proven health benefits to lower inflammation.
And even it healed some girl who had a hole in her ankle or something.
Yeah. I think that is what was in that was what was in the article. Maybe I'll link that in the description too, might as well. But there's just certain things that we've talked about. I'm just like, man, Keys just gets me,
No, all the time. From the very beginning, our very first conversation, I never thought anyone would be listening or watching Joe Dispenza and the connection of spirituality and science, and then we hit it off from the jump, and I was like, I can't believe someone else
and then You Can Heal Your Life, that book.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Keys reads the same books as me. she listens to the same people as me, because you gotta we talked about everyone bringing their own unique light, but at the same time it's cool to have similarities with people that are around and have similar passions or interests, and I could be like, oh, Keys, look what I listened to this, you should listen to this person, or you could be like, oh, what was that you told me to watch? It was or read. It was Reality Unveiled or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Oh, yeah. Well, then I found it on my Kindle, and I'm like, okay, cool. But it's just constantly deepening your perspective and becoming more aware, and I don't know.
It's all about perception and just having understanding for others. It really helps a lot with that too. I'm grateful that we have those similarities because then we can talk and kind of reflect on what we learned without me just rambling or sounding crazy to you.
Yeah.
So
no, because I love all my friends, but I can't talk about that with all my friends.
Me either.
It's only a select it's my dad, one of my mentors, you.
Yeah.
And I can really hold a conversation with someone like that. I'm like, okay, cool. Because it's a chance for us to grow more spiritually, become more aware, become more.
And that's so divine. To be able to grow on a spiritual level with someone else, that's very divine. It's kind of little therapy sessions.
Facts.
Coming back to it.
And it always comes back to what any situation that you might be in. You know, if you're frustrated with what somebody did, with what a coach did, what a teammate did, you're in a relationship, someone makes you mad, your teacher did something, your classmate did something, your friend, the situation's bothering you. At the end of the day, you're gonna first of all be your same person all the time. So at the end of the day, you can always come back to yourself and know that you have that constant. And also for me, it's like God is my confidence and my like source. But like, you know, having that spiritual background of all the stuff that we talk about, read about, coming back to nature, coming back to taking care of yourself, it really applies to really any situation that you might be in.
It does. It really does. And it makes you just admire God and the world and everything like that. It makes you admire it so much more, like the complexities of everything.
Yeah.
And it just like makes sense. Like it makes
in a weird way
sense.
Because like I don't have to understand. But it makes, because it's so complex, I don't think I'll ever understand. I don't even know if I want to understand.
Yeah.
But
That's
like,
and I feel like, is that how you like went down the rabbit hole of like finding those things anyways? Because you wanted a deeper understanding of the world.
Yeah, because I feel like everyone has a certain purpose and a certain like something that's sitting on their heart, whether they go after it or not. And this like reminds me, one of my professors recently told me to read The Alchemist, and that book is like a narrative about a boy who has a dream of finding treasure. Very simple, right? But it's all like metaphors to, they call it like a personal legend of everyone has their own personal legend. And that's like, I don't think that you just have one either, but everyone has something like they're placed on the earth for a reason, you know? And you have that dream on your heart. You have those dreams on your heart, you know? And it's just whether you decide to take that leap or not is up to you. But I think I went down that rabbit hole because I'm like, man, I know I don't think this deep for no reason. Like there's something that I need to understand. There's something deeper. And not even saying that I'm ever going to understand, but just being in touch with that side of reality and a side that isn't mainstream because like nobody talks about it. You know?
Nobody. And I think I was going through the same thing. I was like, God, what is my purpose in life? Like, why am I here? What am I doing? Because we can see those gifts in ourselves. That's why. And we're like, okay, what am I supposed to do?
Glimpses of like greatness, of like, wow, this is me.
Yes. Which is beautiful. Yeah. Life is really beautiful if you just like take a moment to learn yourself and like what your gifts are, what your purpose is.
Like I'm sure even when you were a young girl and you were uncomfortable in those dresses, if you had an outfit that you felt good in, that was like a glimpse of like, oh, I don't have to feel uncomfortable.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly. And I feel like that was my outlet because basketball, I can wear comfy sweatpants, sweatshirts, my favorite shoes. So like that's why basketball kind of became my identity, because that's what I love to wear. I love to wear like the basketball aesthetic. But
that makes sense.
Like
it's really hard not to like wear like basketball shorts.
But
I remember when I first started wearing basketball shorts, I thought it felt so weird because I was used to wearing like shorter like soccer shorts or leggings or like, you know, pants. And then I was like used to like something touching my like lower thigh. You know what I mean? Like
the shorts used to be so long too.
Yes. But I think basketball is like a vessel of, this is my purpose in the sense that I want to, you know, reach my fullest potential of who I'm supposed to be in this game. But also, like, I think just like you, I don't really think that my identity was ever just basketball because I never started off with basketball. I started off with, I was like a nerd. I love to read. I love to do art. I went to soccer practice, but like, I wasn't like, oh man, I gotta get better at soccer. You know, it was like, you know, let me do my little sewing lessons. You know, like that was who I was. So then, like basketball just came to me naturally. Like the opportunity just presented itself, and I was like, sure, that door opened, and it ended up being something like much greater than I could have imagined.
My story is really like, for basketball, I've come so far in basketball. Like I remember my first ever basketball game. I did great somehow. I had no idea how to play basketball, and then after the game, some woman, she was like, "Yeah, when you grow up, you're either gonna be a basketball player or a model or both." And I was like, "How did you know?" Like, just like this year, that I'm just remembering that quote was like, it came full circle. Like, I feel like that was some type of guardian angel or like someone.
You know what's crazy? I really wanted to read the alchemist because it's like short, but in the book, the king of like some nation, I forgot, comes to this boy and gives him like guidance. And I feel like everyone has that moment of somebody, speaking life into something, Like, I think of my parents, I think of my Nana that passed away when I was 1. Like, she said that, she told my parents that she thought I would be working on the news or a news anchor. And I never saw that for myself up until, and now I'm like, I'm a journalism major. Like, I'm in reporting classes. Like, that's kind of weird,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I would ever go into that just because, but it was always like, Nana, that sounds cool and all, but I want to be an architect. I want to be an architect for a long time. I want to be like I wanted to be a professional drummer and soccer player for a long time. Like, I have all these other things, but it's cool that you said that.
Yeah, like that's crazy how that works. So.
Yeah.
And then like even my journey, like I'm skinny now, but I was like so skinny, so scrawny. People were telling me I would never make it to college basketball, and I was like, all right, bet, say that. And then I just like basketball just became proving them wrong.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the bad thing in it is I was doing it for other people instead of like doing it for that love of sport, but.
Do you see that there was some good in that too, though?
Yeah, because I worked hard. I was in like on the streets of my neighborhood, dribbling up and down. Like,
yes.
Just going hard for no reason at all. But like it paid
off.
Obviously reason. It paid off. I was waking up all the neighbors, but
I used to one time my neighbors came outside, they're like, we're trying to put our kids to sleep, okay? It's not my speaker out there.
Dang, that's so funny.
But it's because you saw the vision.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. And like I just couldn't take that. I was like, no. And I feel like that's a good trait to have because now like going up, no one can tell me anything. Like if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it whether you think I can or not. So like.
And at the end of the day, you don't have to have people to support you. Like it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a more convenient path to take. I don't know how I feel about the proving people wrong concept. Because part of me, I think part of everyone does want to prove something, But like, why? I always ask myself why. Because, part of me is like, yeah, like, even if I'm just proving it to myself, proving it to God, but you know what I mean? Like, it always just, because then I'm chasing after like worldly things. Like, what's my actual purpose isn't to like win a championship.
Yeah, exactly.
My actual purpose isn't to sell this much art, to make this much money, to work this career. It's just to like be myself and spread love. Spread love. Yeah. Like, just be in the fullness of who you are. But that's so hard. And I think it's also like good to have goals. You want to win that championship. You want to get that job. You want to aspire to these things because maybe that helps you amplify your true purpose better.
Yeah, but I feel like all the things that we chase are, like what you said, the more worldly desires. Like, I think that's just because that's how the world works.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get lost in the, like, how do I spread love through this purpose that I'm pursuing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something I struggled with, like, recently in basketball. It was like, why am I doing this? And, like, is it to prove people wrong or is it to, bring people together?
Okay, this is really deep, but, like, what do you see as like the true meaning of happiness?
Happiness and success could be like the traits and characteristics that I want for myself, like being slow to anger, being understanding and caring, and like spreading love throughout the community, helping others. Like I feel like those things, like everything for other people, but also like benefiting my character and myself.
Just being able to show up every day and say like, this is Keys,
Yeah.
I'm my best self today.
Yeah.
And if you show up like that every day, you can never have regret. Because like when I reflect, at least for me, when I reflect, like, games I didn't play well, things that I didn't do well, tests I didn't perform well on, or things I missed, or, judgment calls I didn't make right, maybe. I can look back and be like, well, I did the work. I tried to set myself, I did everything I could to set myself up for success, so there's no regret.
Exactly. Like how our season ended, like I feel like that was the perfect way it could have ended. Like we did everything like right in that last game up until like the last second. Like I would not want anyone else to shoot that shot. But and I'm so glad like the way that it ended, it couldn't have been any better for me, honestly.
Yeah. It still stings for me, but I honestly, like, in my heart, it goes with what we're talking about. I feel like it's deeper than that game because, like, I feel like that moment is, like, gonna propel me forward,
Yes, you're not missing the next one.
Yeah.
When you guys are like in the Final Four next year.
Yeah, because I would shoot that shot again and again and again, and like if I shoot it, I think it's going in again. But yeah, like if you put everything out there and do what you can best, then you can't say anything at the end of the day. If we would have looked back at that game and be like, man, in the third quarter, we didn't play hard, we had no bench energy, we weren't boxing out, we weren't communicating, we were yelling at each other. And I would look at that game and be like, bro, what did we do?
Why?
Like, this was our season,
Yeah.
Yeah. And like saying it was the perfect end, like, that's hard for me to say.
I understand because like it felt like it was in your court. Like I understand, like I would be saying the same thing if it was my shot to take.
Yeah.
But like you're the best shooter we have on the team. Like if you think about it, like from a coaching perspective at least, I don't know how Dion feels about it, but like I feel like
he's like, we've had the same conversation.
Yeah.
It's just like, I guess this is a whole other topic, but you feel like something's supposed to be a certain way and it doesn't go that way.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like kind of come back to your core and come back to your center and be like, it happened for you. You might not understand why.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever understand why.
Mm-hmm. You might.
You think?
Yeah, I think you have one more year left.
You're right.
I think you might.
I might understand why. Yeah.
Yeah.
But fully, like, I don't think that I'll ever fully understand God's like purpose behind things. At least until some time goes by. Because like you're right. Honestly, when you say that, like there was really like even like, and this has taken me a long time to open up about, but in my process of transfer here, I went through some really like dark times like by myself before I decided to go into the transfer portal, and before I decided to take that leap and advocate for myself and be like, I deserve better than this, and I'm gonna go somewhere that I'm valued more, and I feel like I can shine, and I feel like I have a better opportunity. That took a lot to do that, and like in those moments, I didn't understand why it was so bad. It was so hard, But then when I'm looking back, I'm like, man, if it hadn't been that bad, I would have never came to Chicago. I would have never met y'all. I would have never, had the opportunities and been in this, like, I love my academic program here. I don't think I'll ever would have had that caliber of professors. I loved all the professors I had at my last school too, but it's just different, like we're in Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm grateful, honestly. I'm really grateful that we had all the experiences and even like the bad times, like the bad games, the times like that I was just like beside myself of why this or that happened, why I didn't perform to my expectations, why we didn't win, why the ball didn't fall on our court. But it all like when I reflect, I'm like, wow, these are experiences I can use and build off of next year. For next year,
Yeah.
I feel like for you too, it's your next chapter.
It's scary, like not knowing what's coming next.
Yeah.
Obviously, but like I know big things are coming at the end of the day. It's just
Right, because you're Keys. Like, come on now. You're Keys.
I'm Keys. I mean, I don't know. Like
just that girl, like, you're gonna be successful regardless.
You too, Grace. Like, I'm excited, like, for this team and everyone's success.
Yeah.
But like going back to like the happiness thing too, like I don't feel like happiness is eternal either. Like you're gonna have ups and downs and everything. I feel like that's just part of life. But that also is what brings you like to the places that you're going, the places that you're at right now, and like without those ups and downs, like
what's the point? Yeah, you wouldn't have to stretch for anything. You wouldn't have to like. You wouldn't ever meet the people you're supposed to meet because you would be so comfortable in where you are and so happy. And that's a conversation like I had with one of my close friends recently. Like, why, if I'm happy where I'm at, but I feel like I have a better potential or bigger potential, why is it so hard for me to like push for that if I'm happy and I'm like satisfied and I'm, settled where I am? And I think so many people fall into that.
Yes, definitely. Like, just being content instead of like going and chasing what you know like you can get. Like,
and just like back to being yourself, doing what you want to do. Like, y'all should definitely follow Keys again. Shout out Kristen Keys. But she makes her own like clothes and stuff. Like, you taught yourself how to like use the sewing machine. I know your girlfriend probably helped with that a lot. But just I don't know. There's so much you can learn. Like,
there is. Just like whatever comes naturally to you. Like, for some reason, I hate like when my pants don't fit the way that I want them to, or when they don't sit right on my
That's
shoes.
real.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fix this, and like it turned into art somehow. Like, other people liked it, so like I love it. Obviously, because I will not stop wearing these pants.
Oh, she's wearing them right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can show them.
Let's see.
They got like patchwork on the back.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you call that.
Like the flare.
The flare with like different colored fabric on both sides.
Yeah.
No, they're really cool. They're not anything you could like buy at a store.
And that's, I just love being different. Like, that's,
as you should.
Yeah. That it can get the best of me sometimes. But I don't know. I love creativity. I'm still trying to find myself in my creative like space because like I said, I've been basketball for 15 years of my life. And now I'm just starting to like understand that I am a creative person and like trying to figure out what I want to do with that creativity. But yeah, I'm really big on creativity and I feel like everyone is very creative, but like just gotta tap into it.
I believe that too. I believe anyone could be like a good artist and a good creator in some fashion.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things that we're going to do. Just like create different things and support other people through their creations. So.
Even through basketball, you're creative.
Yeah, basketball is really creative. I feel like basketball is an art. Like you have to creatively solve problems in like less than a millisecond. Like
very true.
It's super fun, but you have to be creative. I feel like that's a lot of like what a lot of basketball players miss too, because they're kind of like just robotic, do what the coach says, but they forget like when you're on the court, it's you, your teammates, the other team, the ball. Like, you gotta figure out how to creatively work together to achieve that goal for the basket every time.
Do you think that's always come easily to you?
Actually, kind of, because like when I was a little kid, I would literally just catch the ball and shoot it. I wouldn't even look at the board. I would just kind of catch it and throw it. That doesn't really take a lot of creativity, but you learn like, okay, what else can I do? Like, how else can I get better? And then like my personal workouts were really creative too. Like, I don't like to just like stand in one spot and shoot. I like to like do dribble moves and like get creative, crafty. So that was really fun to me.
Yeah, every time we ever got in the gym, it was always something different.
Yeah, that's why I said we need to get in there. Like, it's time. I need to get back in there.
Yeah, for real. And also, I guess like the last thing I was thinking about was how you've been working on what's the app called?
Procreate.
Keys got me into like a little bit of digital art. I'm not super comfortable with it yet.
Me either.
But how do you think that's helped you, like in general?
Like it's helped me to kind of like put some of my thoughts down and like get a grip on art a little bit better. Like I've been able to work more creatively with my iPad or with Procreate. And it's just like a good space, I feel like, just to have it all in one place and be able to go back to it and reference it, get on Pinterest, kind of find inspiration. But yeah, like I'm still trying to get my grip on Procreate, and like how to draw freehanded. And also like I want to start a clothing brand, but I don't have a lot of like ideas that are flowing through my brain yet on like names and like what I want the logo to look like and everything. I know you have that, but something that I'm trying to get better at. Definitely.
And there's so much potential for that. Like, you have like so many creative ideas when it comes to clothing and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely something with Keys.
That's what everyone says. If you have any like ideas, like,
reach out on Instagram or drop a comment. I'll probably honestly put this clip on my Instagram so people could just drop a comment if they think of something.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned for that for sure. But before we close, like, do you have any, like, to somebody that wants to fill your shoes, play college basketball, separate their identity from sports, come into who they are as a person, expressing themselves, being creative, what would be like your main advice you would give?
It's really hard to just say be yourself, but like you just gotta do it. Like just really look within yourself, find out what you like to do, what you stand for, what you don't stand for, and just basically like really come into yourself. Like advocate for yourself in all aspects of life. Like I tell my teammates all the time, I'll advocate for you in any situation of life. I don't ever want to see them treated without respect or anyone crossing their boundaries. And yeah, I feel like that's what it's all about. Just being you and make sure that you're putting yourself in a situation or position where you belong. That's a big one too, and where you're accepted. So, yeah.
One thing about Keys, she's always gonna have your back too.
I don't do that. Yeah, I'll play.
Thank you guys all for listening today. I hope that you guys took something away from this podcast. We talked about a variety of topics, getting in tune with yourself, expressing yourself creatively, taking care of yourself, becoming who you are in your fullest potential as a player, but not letting that define you. And I also just want to say thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having
the podcast.
Me. Honestly, like I was
it's
so
very
excited.
long overdue.
Yes.
But yeah, stay tuned. We have a photo shoot in the works.
We do. We gotta get these. We're gonna get these t-shirts out to you very soon. Yeah.
And stay tuned for the next episode on Live with Grace podcast.